already approved borrowing plan for the next financial year at 1,40,000. So that is going to be a mix of domestic as well as international sources. We have been maintaining, in order to diversify our borrowing portfolio, we are maintaining that we will be raising around 15 to 20% through foreign currency borrowing. And I think going forward also, we are going to follow the similar approach. It will be a mix of different instruments, bonds, term loans, short-term loans like that. With respect to the next question about the nuclear power, I think it will be too early to say anything because government is in the process of finalizing the detailed policy guidelines. Let us see that where the government opens up the sector, and only then we will be able to comment on that. But in any case, we are, after the detailed analysis, we are definitely open to funding the nuclear also. KSK definitely for us, it's a revenue booster for this quarter. This quarter we have accounted for interest income of approximately 1,200 crore on account of over and above recovery of the admitted claim. And simultaneously we have been maintaining 55% provisioning on this account, and that was also reversed to that extent. Going forward, that there are two assets in NCLT, Sinnar Thermal and India Power Haldia. We are expecting to have a resolution of those two assets in the coming financial year. There are two assets, Shiga and TRN Energy, which we are expecting the resolution outside NCLT. So that will also be there. With respect to your questions of other slippages during the current, during the FY25. So on the one side we have reversals in the provisioning, but on the other side there has been additional provisioning to the tune of around approximately 1,000 crore on the re-ranking of the distribution entities under the 13th integrated ranking methodology. So approximately 1,000 crore we have accounted for that. 260, as I told you, is around 260 was the additional provisioning because we have 100% provided for the outstanding amount in case of Genso. And there was additional provisioning of whatever is the incremental assets in our books. Apart from that, as a prudent mayor, we have increased our provisioning on the stage 2 assets. So that also we have increased to about 1.25%. So all these, the additional provisionings we have made during financial year 22. The type of borrowing PFC has been doing in the past few years and going forward also, because we are expecting 10 to 11% increase on a base of 5,43,000 crore. So we have a huge borrowing plan, of which 1,40,000 has already been approved by our board. So looking at the numbers, I think we need to diversify our sources. So we need to diversify between domestic as well as international market. And if you talk of domestic also, we need to tap all sources and explore whatever is the best option for PFC to lower its cost of borrowing. And in the process, I agree that largely we rely on the bond market, but at times the liquidity in the bond market is also affected due to several reasons. So if we have funds, so we will parallelly be exploring bond market, term loans from the bank, and if required, some short-term borrowing also through CP or short-term loans. So that's going to be the I told that there has been focus on disbursement during the year on the distribution, which is primarily the government sector. And the other major area was the renewable. And you know that in the renewable, it's mostly the private sector players are there. So that is how you are seeing a slight shift in our overall lending portfolio from government in favor of private, because the lot of focus is there. So going forward also, we are expecting that our focus is going to be on the renewable, and that will come from private sector primarily, and whatever is the distribution. As of now, it's very difficult to tell about the mix, what is going to be there.
Okay. One more thing, despite your PAT growth, your total comprehensive income declined in Q4. So can you please explain the reason behind that?
So comprehensive income also consists of other instruments which we are having held till maturity. So OCI, which goes directly to the part of the OCI. So I think that is how you are seeing that other comprehensive income instrument. Maybe there are few equity shares we are holding, and there are other instruments which are there. So once that have been marked to market, so that is impacting our OCI.
Okay, thank you.
On your first question on the GenSol, in April, we have given a statement and said that we have a 307 crore outstanding. After that, we have recovered 44 crore by invocation of the TRA and FDs which we have as a part of the security mechanism. Out of 3,000 vehicles, 2,741 vehicles have been hypothecated to PFC. So we are exploring all other options, including invocation of securities, how to recover the outstanding for PFC. On your next question about that there is lot of liquidity in the offshore market, what we see that there is lot of liquidity domestically as well as for the offshore market. So we have been tapping the offshore market at a very frequent periodicity. So that is by way of either raising through bonds or by raising through syndicated loans. So syndicated loans, last year also we have raised substantial amount, and this year also we are in the process of raising. Now today our results are there. So we have to update certain documents. After that we will be definitely approaching. Look forward for that where we can have the cost efficiency able to achieve. So that is the way we will be tapping the foreign.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Options, and after due diligence and weighing all options available to us, definitely we will decide. So I think that you need to wait and watch for that.
All right. On the renewables front, ma'am, you mentioned that will be the focus. What about nuclear and thermal? If you can give us some hint on that, because that is something that a lot of companies are also looking at focusing now.
See, nuclear definitely we will be more than happy, but everybody is waiting for a clear policy direction from the Government of India. Which are the parties who are going to participate in this nuclear vision for Vikasit Bharat. So we are also waiting, and since we are one of the, I think, largest lender for the power sector, we would definitely be happy to fund for the nuclear also. So, pardon?
Thermal.
We are already in the thermal. Government of India has announced 80 gigawatt of additional installed thermal capacity, of which some portion will be taken up by NTPC and some portion will be taken by states or maybe some other private agencies. NTPC usually doesn't borrow from us, but we are there for funding for the state sector as well as the private sector.
So despite this, you see renewables as the focus for your company, and in terms of the ratio that you would allocate to the funding, how would that be with regard to renewables vis-a-vis thermal and nuclear going forward?
See, thermal, if at all funding is done, it's over a medium period, because immediately the funds are not going to flow. The gestation period is long for thermal power projects, whereas it's very short gestation period if we talk of the renewable projects. So disbursements are going to crystallize more for renewable immediately as compared to.
Thank you.
We'll take one last.
See, the focus has already been shifted from plain vanilla solar projects, with the government announcing for compulsorily storage of at least 2 hours. So the focus has already been shifted, and going forward, as I told you, around 50% of the capacity has already been bidded in such projects. Going forward also, this is going to be the trend, and we are expecting that plain vanilla solar projects are going to, on overall basis, their share is going to reduce for the fresh capacity addition. Yeah.
Alright. Do you have exposure to UP Discom, since there are talks about privatizing?
We have exposure to UP Discoms, but even if it is privatized, so it will be eventually the portfolio or the loan book will be shifted to the new, if at all it happens.
What is the exposure?
Right now I don't have any figure. If you want, you can connect with our investors.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your